We are now joined by New York Times best-selling author Jana Klauer to discuss how eating the right foods can prevent diabetes. Good to have you here.
Great to be here, Laura.
First off, there's type 1, type 2 diabetes. What's the difference?
Yes, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease that often develops early in life. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease. It's one of the diseases of civilization that comes from eating too many refined carbohydrates.
So we are seeing a rise in type 2 diabetes, and not just among people in their 50s and 60s, but youngsters as well. Why is this? We're just eating wrong foods?
Exactly. Well, I think the main factor is our diet. Type 2 diabetes is non-existent in countries where people are lean and eat a more natural diet and have high levels of physical activity. In the United States, it's a tsunami of diabetes because we don't move and we eat too many snacks.
So what are the worst foods that you can eat?
The worst foods you can have are things like refined carbohydrates that fill the supermarket, and that's what people reach for when they're looking to have a snack during the day.
And can you help me out? What's a refined carbohydrate? You hear a lot of buzzwords, and you're not sure. You can be overwhelmed as a consumer.
Sure. Refined carbohydrate basically is something that raises the blood sugar rapidly. So this would be like a cookie or even a pretzel. Some people think pretzels are diet foods, but they're not. They're absolutely not.
Right. So what food should we be eating to prevent diabetes? Because you say this is preventable. Type 2 diabetes is preventable.
Well, there are a couple of things. You want to make sure that you have protein in your diet. So perhaps a piece of cheese rather than a cookie as a snack. And also fiber. Fiber slows down the absorption of sugar. So if you have an apple has sugar in it, but it also has fiber, so you're slowing down the absorption of the sugar in the apple.
Well, what about if you're a vegetarian? What do you do for protein then?
Well, there are many plants that have protein. Soy is a good example. All the legumes, all the beans, that would be your source of protein there.
Now, there's something called pre-diabetes. What if somebody has pre-diabetes? You know, what can you do if you know you're at risk here?
About 35% of the population have pre-diabetes. And so it can be asymptomatic initially, and you would just diagnose it on lab tests. You might notice changes in your skin. That's one of the first. Well, we sometimes see that. It's a condition called acanthosis nigrans, and that's a darkening of the skin around the neck or around the elbows and knees. So that's one thing. But basically, it's diagnosed by a doctor.
Many people try to substitute by using sugar substitutes, and they think that that's a good thing and will help prevent diabetes. Good idea?
Yes and no. You're not raising the blood sugar, but actually what you're doing is stimulating the palate to crave sugar. So if everything you eat is sweet, and in the U.S. we do have a very sweet palate, that's not a good idea.
All right, well, doctor, we thank you for your advice. Bottom line, just try and use some common sense, eat proteins, and eat healthy.
And stay away from those sodas, like Mayor Bloomberg said.
There you go. Stay away from the sodas. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
You're welcome.